Ternary operator. We use if-else blocks to perform a task based on whether a condition is true or false. To perform simple tasks, we can use a shorthand notation called ternary operator. The syntax for ternary operator is the value that you want to return when the condition evaluates to true, followed by if keyword, followed by the condition, else keyword, and the value that you want to return when the condition evaluates to false. Let's take an example where we have two variables a assigned to 10, b assigned to 20. If a is greater than b, I want to return a string saying a greater than b. Otherwise, I'll return a less than or equal to b. So how do I do that using ternary operator? I'll have a variable to store the output of the ternary operator. In my case, I'm taking it as result. Now, I'll return something if the condition is true. I have an if keyword, and what is my condition? A greater than b. Otherwise, I'll return some other string. Let's define the strings now. A greater than b is returned when this condition is true, greater than b. And when this condition is false, a is less than b, less than or equal to b. Now let's print the result. A is 10, B is 20, so this condition is false. It goes to the else case and we see the message A is less than or equal to B. Now I'll update this to 100, which makes this condition true. So we'll say the message A is greater than B. Now if these values are equal, I want to print a message A is equal to B. So instead of saying A is less than or equal to B, we can be more specific. And how can we do that? If A is greater than B, then this is good. We have a true condition. But when this condition is false, we have two cases. One, A might be less than B, or A might be equal to B. So we can have another ternary operation here. So after else, what we can do is we'll print some message if the condition is true. So what is my condition here? A less than B. Otherwise, we'll print some other message. What is the condition? A is less than B. If this condition is false, A is equal to B. What are we doing here? First, we'll check if A is greater than B. If it's true, this message will be printed. If it's false, then it goes to this ternary operator. Here, again, we have a true value if condition, else, and false value. Let's see the result. Let me save it first. Since A and B have same values, we expect a message A is equal to B. Now I'll update it to 200. A is greater than B. So the output would be A is greater than B. And I'll update this to 2000. Now we see A is less than B. We can achieve similar functionality using tuples also. The syntax for it is we have a false value first and then the true value, and in the square brackets we mention the condition. So if A greater than B condition is true, now if A is 200, B is 2000, A greater than B will be false. So whatever message you specify as the first item in the tuple, that will be printed. Let's see this with an example. I'll say result 1 equals, the tuple will have two things. One, A is, so the false condition is A is less than or equal to B. And the true condition is A is greater than B. And the condition A greater than B. So I'll not update these values. Let's see what is the result now. So A is greater than B, it evaluates to false. So the first item in the tuple will be returned as the output. Now if I do this, A greater than B is true. So the second value will be returned now. A is greater than B. We can do the same thing with the dictionaries also. But in the dictionary, as you know, we have key and value pairs. So I'll say another variable. My variable name is result2, and dictionary we use curly braces, and my label will be true. If the condition evaluates to true, I'll simply write the message A greater than B. If the condition evaluates to false, I'll return A is less than or equal to B. And similar to the above syntax, we'll simply specify the condition here. Instead of printing result 1, I'll print result 2. So A greater than B is true. And what is the value for the key which has true? It is A is greater than B. Now if I do 2000 to B, A greater than A greater than B will be false. So the message A is less than or equal to B will be printed. It's not based on the order, it's based on the key values. For example, I'll simply move this condition to the else. So now first the key value is false, A is less than or equal to B. Second one is true, A is greater than B. I'll comment this. Now A greater than B, 200 greater than 2000? No, false. So this message is expected. So the message is A is less than or equal to B. When you use dictionaries, the order of these values doesn't matter. It's just the if the output matches with one of the keys, then it returns the value of that key. Not only Boolean values, we can try other data types as well. For example, I'll have a variable result3. Now I'll have a dictionary which has key 1. If the key is 1, I'll say the value is A is 1. If the key is 2, value will be A is 2. If the key is 3, the value is A is 3. Now the condition is, I'll simply put A. Now I'll assign the value of A as 1. Let's print the result 3. Run the command. A value is 1. It matches with this key. What is the corresponding value for this key? A is 1. Now I'll update this to 3. What is the corresponding value for 3? A is 3. So if I run the command, we see the message A is 3. What if I give a value which doesn't match with any of these keys? Then we get key error. The condition that you specify here should return a result which exists in this dictionary. Only then you'll see the correct output. Otherwise, you will see this key error. You can achieve the same thing using lambda also, the tuple one. Here we used directly values, right? You can use lambda function also. So let's try to use the same thing but with the lambda function. I'll call this 4.